Sometimes the biggest treasures in life slip away, not because we don't see them, but because we fail to value them at the right time. In a quiet little village, tucked between golden fields and winding dirt roads, there lived a poor laborer. His life was simple, almost painfully so. Each morning, before the sun had fully risen and while the mist still curled around the trees, he would take his shovel and head to the fields. His job was monotonous but necessary, digging soil, loading it into baskets, and carrying it on the back of his faithful donkey. Day after day, he repeated the same routine: dig, load, sell. The money he earned was barely enough for a loaf of bread, a handful of vegetables, and maybe some firewood to last through the night. Yet, despite his poverty, the man's heart was humble, his spirit steady. He never complained, for he believed work was a blessing, no matter how small the reward. But life, as it often does, had a strange twist waiting for him. One morning, while his hands were caked in dirt and sweat dripped down his brow, the laborer's shovel struck something hard. The sound was different, sharp, metallic, almost musical. Curious, he knelt down and dug with his hands until a strange stone emerged. It was unlike anything he had ever seen, shimmering under the sunlight, sparkling as if it contained tiny stars within it. The man stared at it for a long moment. What an odd stone, he thought. Shiny, but probably worthless. After all, what did he know about gems and jewels? To him, it was simply a curious piece of rock. Without much thought, he tied it around his donkey's neck with a piece of rope, treating it like a good luck charm. The donkey clopped along the dusty roads with the sparkling stone dangling from its neck, attracting the attention of passers-by. Some children pointed and laughed, thinking it was glass. Others didn't care at all. Life in the village carried on, as ordinary as ever. But destiny had already set its wheels in motion. That afternoon, as the laborer passed through the village market, a wealthy merchant caught sight of the donkey. This merchant was no ordinary man. He owned the most popular grocery shop in town. People lined up daily to buy rice, flour, lentils, and spices from his store. His eyes were always sharp, searching for profit, noticing even the smallest detail that others missed. And oh, how his eyes widened when they fell on that glittering stone. "Laborer," he called out, waving his hand, "what is this sparkling thing hanging around your donkey's neck?" The poor man shrugged. "Ah, it's nothing, sir. Just a shiny stone I found while digging this morning. Thought it looked pretty, so I tied it there." The merchant leaned closer, intrigued. His heart raced at the thought that it might be valuable, though he didn't truly know either. But one thing was certain. He wanted it. And if this foolish laborer didn't know its worth, then it was an opportunity to be seized. "I like it," said the merchant, stroking his beard. "I'll buy it from you. 50 rupees. What do you say?" 50 rupees. The laborer's eyes widened. For a man who earned barely 10 rupees a day, this was a small fortune. To him, it was like a dream. Without hesitation, he nodded. "It's yours, sir." And just like that, the deal was made. The merchant tucked the stone away with a satisfied grin, while the laborer walked home happy, clutching his hard-earned money, never knowing what treasure had slipped through his hands. The merchant, however, had no intention of hiding the stone. He wanted the whole village to admire it, so he hung it on the chain of his weighing scale, the very scale he used every day to measure rice and lentils for his customers. Soon, word spread. People began to notice the glittering ornament, and whispers filled the marketplace. "Have you seen the merchant's beautiful stone? It shines like the sun itself." Villagers admired it, some even touched it, but no one truly understood what it was. To them, it was just a decorative piece, a symbol of the merchant's wealth and taste. But fate was not finished with the stone yet. One day, a jeweler from a neighboring town walked into the grocery shop. He was a man trained to see what others could not. His eyes had spent years studying rubies, sapphires, emeralds, and diamonds. And the moment his gaze landed on the sparkling stone dangling from the scale, his breath caught in his throat. He stepped closer, pretending to examine the weights of flour, but his eyes were locked on that gem. "Merchant," he said casually, pointing toward it. "What is that stone hanging there?" The merchant chuckled. "Oh, that? Just a shiny rock I bought from a laborer for 50 rupees. Beautiful, isn't it? Everyone seems to admire it." The jeweler nearly laughed at the absurdity. "A diamond? A priceless diamond being used as decoration for a grocery scale?" He knew immediately what fortune lay in that stone. "Would you sell it to me?" he asked, trying to sound uninterested. The merchant rubbed his chin thoughtfully. "Well, I like it. But if you truly want it, give me 100 rupees and it's yours." The jeweler frowned. He was wealthy, yes, but also stingy to his core. 100? That's too much. I'll give you 80. But the merchant shook his head firmly. No less than 100. The jeweler smirked. "This man doesn't know its value. If I leave today, he'll grow desperate and sell it cheaper tomorrow. Perhaps even 90 will do." So, with a fake smile, he said, "Very well, I'll come back tomorrow," and walked away. The merchant shrugged, thinking little of it. That evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, another traveler entered the village. He too was a jeweler, passing through on his way to the city. But misfortune struck. His cart broke down near the market and he stopped by the merchant's shop to rest. As he waited, his eyes too caught the glittering stone. He froze. His trained instincts screamed the truth. It was no mere stone. It was a diamond. A rare, priceless diamond. He wasted no time. "Merchant," he said urgently, "will you sell me that stone?" The merchant, surprised, replied, "Yes, for 100 rupees." Without hesitation, the jeweler pulled out the money. Coins clinked on the counter. "Done. The diamond is mine." The merchant grinned at the deal, never realizing how cheaply he had sold it. The next morning, the first jeweler returned, a triumphant smile on his face. He was ready to haggle again, confident that the merchant would sell the stone for 90 rupees. But when he looked at the scale, the diamond was gone. "Where is the stone?" he demanded. "Oh, that," the merchant replied casually. "Another gentleman came by last night and bought it for 100 rupees. The jeweler's face drained of color. He clenched his fists. "You fool!" he shouted. "That wasn't just a shiny stone. It was a priceless diamond. You sold it for mere pennies compared to its worth." But the merchant only laughed. "Maybe so. But remember, I didn't know its value. You did. And yet you argued over 20 rupees. You saw treasure but lost it because of your stinginess. So tell me, who is the real fool here?" The jeweler fell silent, his pride shattered, his chance forever lost. This tale leaves us with 3 timeless lessons. First, be wise with your stinginess. Save money where it makes sense, but don't let greed blind you from real opportunities. Second, never miss the right opportunity. Sometimes hesitation makes us lose what could have been the chance of a lifetime. Third, don't delay your actions. What can be done today should never be postponed, for tomorrow might be too late. Remember, treasures don't always come wrapped in gold. Sometimes they look like ordinary stones, and those who hesitate or undervalue them often walk away empty-handed.